Travis Wingitzel. I'm going over my most popular, as I saw that Putin bombs close to LDS Kiev Temple had been my number one in the last 28 days. And I see that Brad Wilcox in the LDS Church hot seat exposed as a racist, Mormon racist, has now joined the 1,000 Club. And if you're unfamiliar, YouTube is under orders of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints to silence my voice. And I've been on this channel, TWG. YouTube has made threats and have silenced me from time to time, and terrorist threats on my computer has silenced me on occasion. But it's pretty much a year ago, right after the threats of the church, they shut down my website as I was getting 3,000 views per day. That's visitors. That's how it was measured there. And so if they viewed more than one blog, okay, but the visitors, 3,000 visitors per day, all over the world. So yes, Putin, Kim Jong-un, and of course, asterisk number 45, as I'm the one who caused him to say oranges of the investigation. And so, most of you, however, do not understand how big of a person I am, and so you don't believe. You think I'm a nobody. Nobody is interested. Nobody cares what I have to say. And so, yeah, you guys are missing out. The big one on TWG, of course, is when I filed with the courts that Nelson changed the law of chastity. Breaking LDS news, Russell M. Nelson changes ... temple covenants again. He was pissed. That was a good day. So yes, the church knows me, whether you believe it or not. And there's the big bombshell that was awesome. LDS Church to abolish Book of Mormon for April 2021 General Conference. Yep, back in the Baby Yoda prop phase. Cancelled. So yes, I've already got a planned thumbnail for this one, because it's I'm late. Supposed to do it at the beginning of March for the preparing you guys for the April 2022 General Conference. I did sort of touch on it, but didn't utilize those for my upcoming pre-April 2022 General Conference playlist. I haven't made one yet. But the problem that the church has with me is that I get attention. See, with my website, I would Google search myself and find my pictures from my website all over the place. And so what happened after that? Nelson comes out and says, The name is Jesus Christ. It's a Church of Jesus Christ. It must be Jesus Christ. No nicknames anymore. And you thought Jesus was angry. Nope. They wanted to shut me down. So that the algorithm programs that the church invests in, Google and Microsoft and etc., would rig it so that now when you type in Mormon Church, you'll see instead Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And you'll scroll down, and you'll go to the next page, and the next page, and the next page, and the next page. He wins. He wins the information war. He has manipulated the system so that the church dominates. So unless you know of a critic site, or if you type in critic, you may not find, let's check. We're on the internet here anyway. LDS Church criticism. And so there's a Wikipedia page that comes up first. Criticism of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I should probably get a download of that. But then churchofjesuschrist.org. churchofjesuschrist.org. Here we go. I'd rather be writing.com. Why I left the Mormon Church. And then The Atlantic. That's an actual news agency. The ignorance of mocking Mormonism. Oops. Religiostolerance.org. Theological criticism of the Mormon movement. Nacademic.com. Criticism of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Critics claim the LDS Church is academically dishonest. Yeah, they deny science because it supports biased research conducted by the church-owned Foundation for Ancient Research and Mormon Studies. Wow, they have farms in here still. Their mission statement literally said, "We're not seeking to prove anything. We're anti-science. We're not going to develop theory tests and have them tested for confirmation or denial. Nope. We're just going to do faith-promoting articles and use ad hominem against anybody who dares to molest or make afraid." Then here we have Slate, Mitt Romney, and the weird and sinister beliefs of Mormonism. And criticism of Mormonism, fair Mormon. Why we're afraid of Mormons, BU-EDU. That's interesting. Why we're afraid of Mormons. BU today? What is BU education? I don't want to click on them because I want to go back to the Wikipedia one. But you see what I mean? You have Wikipedia first, then the church. For criticism of the church, they put the church and it's second because of the algorithm. It's disgusting. And so how are people supposed to learn criticism if they got the church blocking them? This is the sinister nature of the church. Okay, got that. So, the church, as a result, has infiltrators in YouTube who have been committing serious terroristic cyber crimes against me and have escalated it lately. And so, to get a video into the 1,000 Club is kind of a rare occurrence, even though been on this channel since the end of 2019, I believe is when I started on this one. It was intended to merge with my website so that I can have my business all synced up. But church shut me down. And so you'll see the majority of the 1,000 clubs are in the thousands. There's LDS Prophet Reveals Latter-day Signs in Heaven that's been $9.99 for months now. And I can't get anybody to put it into the 1,000 club. But Brad Wilcox has just joined the club. Brad Wilcox in LDS Church Hot Seat, exposed as a Mormon racist. It's now in the 1,000 club. It's post-1978. I'm no longer a Mormon racist. Yeah, the church got exposed for that by Fox 13 News Utah the other day as racist covenants in the 1930s and 40s, where Mormons here in Utah were specifically banning housing to anybody who was not of the Mormon white race. So that's disturbing, but thus the thumbnail of that video. There are certain things that are exclusive to Mormonism and Mormon culture. And so when I just uploaded the video Korihor, that's why I'm on the internet and checking things, is that YouTube, outside of the Mormons who work for them and work for the church to destroy people like me, YouTube and the rest of the world know nothing about Korihor. Huh? And so they don't get my joke in the video, don't name your daughter Korah. Mormons will not name their daughter Korah. For that reason. And so it's just not understood. It's an exclusive Mormon joke. And I'm the one who created it. Give me the credit. But yeah, Exmo Lex, I would hope it's been long enough now that she can find that kind of humor funny. She's been a victim of her Mormon family, who call her Jezebel. And the world knows about Jezebel, because there's a Bible Jezebel. But it's just, the abuse of Mormons is horrendous. They claim to be Christian, they claim Jesus Christ, even though that's not our religion as Mormons of Joseph Smith. Nonetheless, they still preach love, but they practice hate. And that's the sad reality that Mormons refuse to acknowledge, or they're purposely denying it, knowingly denying it, as some kind of Q conspiracy. But I've pointed out space aliens, pedophilia, Satan worship, Mormons. Take a look at your religion in Salt Lake City. If you could hide a kolob in the twinkling of an eye, we know what that means. The world doesn't know. Boy Scouts, all the child rapes of single girls, single mothered parent girls, mostly in Ogden, from what I understand, percentage-wise. And then, yeah, there's the inverted pentagram issue. And so, sinister beliefs. Yeah, guess who they're talking about. And only Mormons would be the ones to know about it, because the world does not know Mormonism. As much as Mormons think that everybody should know us, we're great and pure, and everybody wants to join us, and we're popular. A poem to Russell M. Nelson. That will not be the thumbnail. I already did the Korihor poem. And so, despite all the year videos that made it to the 1,000 Club, Brad Wilcox was big enough news that broke the algorithm. It's called a breakout video. And so, like I keep saying, when the church is in the news, I get more views. But you'll notice that after Brad Wilcox hit the fan, even the local news was covering it, all of a sudden everybody goes silent. And then a week later, the Black Student Union at BYU want to talk with Brad Wilcox, so they meet him after class. And the white supremacist Mormon students were all complaining, oh, they were ganging up on them, they're hostile. And Brad Wilcox blew him off. Oh yeah, I'll get back to you, it's not a good time. Yeah, it was a long weekend that weekend. He never got back to you, did he, guys? Yeah. All is silence. Because the church quashed the whole thing. The church told the press to cut it out. They told YouTube, stop that view increase of Travis's. And so YouTube did what they could utilizing the algorithm, but damage is done. I got in. And so there some 2 years, and then we finally get down to 708 views in 2 weeks. So again, what's in the news? And so, are Mormons interested about the Mormons and the temple and the news in that area? Of course they are. I know they are. That's why I capitalized on it. To try to see if I can reach a majority audience to spread the word about the truth and about science and the warning about the danger that all of you are facing, that YouTube is purposely protecting the church, putting your lives in danger. Because I knew about the danger way back in 2016, November 4th. I'll always remember that date. That's when Fox 13 News Utah decided in advance to do a little segment. Hey, we've got a total solar eclipse coming next year on the 21st of August, 2017. Because when I heard that, my jaw dropped, because I knew what that meant. And so I had to quickly finish up my Hebrew script publication. Never got around to the vocabulary part or the examples of translation. So I've been doing them in videos for you. And had to, well, that's how I got the signs published, the Book of Signs, because I was, going over the research on all the signs for the latter days, because I knew what it meant. We're there. And despite the church saying, nope, nothing to see here, move along, until last October conference when Nelson finally confessed with just a brief thing of, these are the latter days. Yeah. Amos 3:7, Nelson. Amos 3:7. You have abandoned and betrayed Mormonism. You have abandoned and jeopardized the lives of your flock, for which was your only responsibility, to feed your sheep, not just spiritually, but temporally as well. And he failed us. As I'm the one who's the only one doing investigative journalism on the church, because I knew what that announcement for the 21st of August was. I knew what it meant. So I needed to find out, where's the great and abominable church then? It's gonna fall. There are signs in the heavens. There are events on earth. Joseph Smith translation, Revelation chapter 12 verse 1. Signs in the heavens in the likeness of things on the earth. And so that was the scientific test that they provided. You know? So you got to know the signs in the heavens. You got to know what each planet means. You got to know what the constellations mean. Not the modern meaning, the ancient meaning. Not astrotheology crap, that's new stuff. The ancient understanding by the authors of the books. And so when you see something like lightning, you know that it's attached to Jupiter, or Zeus, or Yah, or Horus. You gotta know how they understood things. And I'm the only one who knows. Literally. And so there were others who knew that the Bible stories came from Egyptian documents, but I think they're all dead now. D.M. Murdoch was the popular one among that group of ours, and I was independent. I wasn't rich, and I couldn't get out there to communicate with people and publish books. But D.M. Murdoch was the big popular one who got interviewed for the movie Zeitgeist. But she died early, so she was never able to develop it into a theory so that it can be tested, and so that was left to me. But I was fully educated on all that, so I've done it. Ta-da! And I'm the last remaining person who now knows about this information. And the church is desperately trying to silence me and shut me up, even if by murder. I've got death threats for my birthday this week. Mormons are wanting to have me murdered, rather than accept that Joseph Smith might actually be right, that the Book of Mormon might actually be true, that our Christ is after the learning of the Jews. And so they want to wage a holy war against me to prove their God is the one true God of peace and love. Yay. And so Putin bombs close to the Kiev temple, is at 708 views in 2 weeks. And then the other one, Biden concedes Ukraine to Putin to save LDS Temple, 690 views in 2 weeks. And it's because of those videos that the church escalated their assault on me lately, because they've been trying to shut me up. They don't want me to do the videos that I've done concerning, let me bring them up. LDS Church paid for you to suffer and die. That's the the biggest impact of that series I did that 2 days ago, it says here. Although, that I did that one that night, and then the next morning I got inspired to do the whole series. And so, Mormons scammed by LDS Church, Mormon billionaire John Marriott funding Russia, LDS Church paid for you to suffer and die, lest we forget, LDS Church paid for war in Ukraine. That's all part of that series to help impress upon your minds that the church paid for this war. The church is apocalyptic. As much as they want to be mainstream fundamental Christian, they're apocalyptic. Latter-day Saints, they're trying to cut it off. churchofjesuschrist.org, no Latter-day Saints. Even Nelson doesn't like how long the name of the church is. and yet they know all about the latter days. They know about the prophecies and the signs. They know. And Bruce R. McConkie is the one who wrote in our chapter headings for each and every single chapter throughout our whole scriptures. Remember, I have the Jesus ticket, the Jesus card. I'm the golden boy. And so Bruce R. McConkie for Ezekiel chapter 38. The war in Russia. Ukraine is Russia. And it broke off in 1991. And Putin wants it back. That's the war. The church paid Putin so that it's a mutual thing. Because section 45 of the Doctrine and Covenants says the whole world will be at war. And the only place that won't be at war will be Zion. Nelson calls Salt Lake City Zion. And so the gathering will be to Salt Lake City. They paid for the war. And not just that, because wouldn't they suffer financially if they're having to pay all these things? Yeah, well, this is where their criminal organization comes into full view. As I did the video 15 hours ago, according to the YouTube thing, and it has 33 views only, because YouTube has successfully shut me down, and it's only a 3-minute video. LDS Church war profiteering through Goldman Sachs and other companies, because the billionaire John Marriott, church is profiting double time on him because he's Mormon. Mormons have to pay tithing in order to be worthy. If you don't pay tithing, you're not worthy. Again, I refer you to Korihor, Book of Mormon, Doctrine of Korihor, which has 2 views in 40 minutes. But it is an hour long, and people sleep in on Sundays because all they have is church. Nelson sort of gave us the day off. We're supposed to have family home evenings on Sundays now, but nobody's pushing for that. They're keeping it on Mondays still. It's like you forgot. You were more distracted by the other things he was doing to you that conference. So, the church is paid for the war and is now profiting from the war. Exactly what they did for the last 2 years with a certain thing that went around the world. They paid for it and they profited from it. How did they pay for it? In Shanghai! What do you know? See, the temple announcements are clues of what criminal activity they've been up to lately. That's how I figured it out. In a major city, yet to be determined, in Russia. So once Putin takes over Ukraine, we'll now have a temple in Russia. What did I tell you? This is what the church wants me murdered for. I went over it with the book. Do I have to keep showing you? I just, again, reviewed it in the thumbnail. Latter-day Mormon rescue operation during prophesied Armageddon. Showing you the death threat they sent me. We're pissed that you started exposing page 290 and 291 of Way to Perfection by Joseph Fielding Smith, Jr. They never differentiate between the two of them. They sort of tried doing it with Joseph F. Smith versus Joseph Fielding Smith. I think F. Smith is the senior and Fielding Smith is junior. Just put senior and junior. It's not complicated. And if it's too long, then just put Joseph F. Smith, senior or junior. Not complicated. Because I think Bruce R. McConkie is longer, isn't it? But yeah, I've been doing the videos, going over with you. Because I know, and I know the church knows, and I'm trying to get it across to you guys. And the church doesn't want you to. They don't want me to be popular on YouTube, as I should be. Because Travis Wayne Goodsall has a video that was done back in July 2017. And the church, in preparation for the war that I discovered was coming, and in preparation for conference, because I think, is it just on this one that it was popular? Let me checketh forth youeth. Started watching Simon after the trauma of trying to see if I can get into Handmaid's Tale. I'm still traumatized. No, it was on TWG that one became popular. But yeah, 39,000 for the LDS dates for the return to Independence, Missouri. And I've come to find out, oh, we're not going back there either? Not only are we not going at all, Nelson says this is Zion. We're not going anywhere. But Joseph Smith, I found the document in the Joseph Smith papers. He tells us, yeah, we're not going to Independence. Most of you think so, like Brigham Young. Nope. He still continued to deceive Mormons because he didn't publish 19 July 1840 in the Doctrine and Covenants. And why? Why wouldn't he publish Joseph Smith's Revelations? Why? And of course you guys are looking it up, right? You're not just going to make your choice right now whether to believe or not. Please tell me that's not how you live your life. You're supposed to check. When I say 19 July 1840 from the Joseph Smith papers, you're supposed to look it up. And so let's demonstrate for you. You get on the internet, in the search category, you put 19 July 1840. Oops, gotta have 40. Joseph Smith papers. Oh, it's already in there for me. And it's even got discourse circa 19 July 1840 as reported by Martha Jane Noltz, And there's the Joseph Smith Papers link. It's amazing how the internet works. And so here it is. Oh, it's even Core A-B rather than Core A-A. Great. And so we scroll down and you see View Entire Transcript. Click on it. There it is. And you can do a copy and paste. It's beyond copyright protection, so that nobody's profiting off of this anymore. So you can have your own copy. Use your Word program if you've got them, so that when the internet goes down, you'll still be able to prove to everybody that Brigham Young did not want this in our Doctrine and Covenants. And why did he not want this in our Doctrine and Covenants? Let me see if I can find it. Come on, where is it? Enemy. So section 101, referring to the parable, is in here. And so I don't understand why. Beginning. Film time of peace. It's in here. It's not by chapter and verse. It's a text, and it's got reference things in the way, and then it's got editors things from their actual transcript. So, like, for example, shall be M has a line through it, and then there's L in between B O O D, so it's blood, not booed. Oh no, yep, there it is. I was there. All right. So where do we start reading from? So he's already talked about section 101's parable. Then the enemy shall come as a thief in the night and scatter the servants abroad. When the seed of these 12 olive trees are scattered abroad, they will wake up the nations, blah, blah, blah. So he's explaining the parable. Why isn't this in our Doctrine and Covenants in connection with section 101, so that it can have it in the footnotes? See Doctrine and Covenants 101. The parable in 43, because the scattering of the servants, that's verse 51. And so here, but before this time shall be these who are now my friends shall become my enemies. Why isn't Brigham Young putting this in? And shall seek to take my life. And there are those, and Brigham Young's in the audience, the 12 are in the audience of Brigham Young, those now before me who will more furiously pursue me and more diligently seek my life. Seek my life. 2 is crossed out. And be more blood thirsty upon my track than ever were the Missouri mobbers. You say among yourselves, as did them of old? Of old. I wonder who he's talking about here. Is it I? And is it I? In case you didn't know. So in John 21, after Jesus has the discussion with Peter, and Jesus says, "Do you love me?" And Peter says, "Of course I love you." And Jesus then sighs, "Feed my sheep." And Peter can't understand. "I don't understand, Jesus," because we don't have it translated correctly. Love means different things. So which love are you referring to? But anyway, then Peter, turning around, seeth the disciple Jesus loved following, which also lean on the breast of the supper, and saith, "Lord, which is he that betrayeth thee?" What is he referring to there? Do they even have it referenced? They don't even have the supper referenced. Unbelievable. Da Vinci went out of his way to encode this for us. For the bloodline, the seed of Messiah. So, let's see if we can find the other versions. So, the president of the church, along with the seer of the church, betrays Jesus. So it'd have to be before 23. Parable of the marriage of the king's son. No. So apparently Matthew doesn't have it, unless it's earlier. Yeah, they're doing more parables here. So let's go to Lucas, Kata Lucas, and institutes the sacrament. No, Bruce, no. The sacrament was instituted by the Egyptians at their temple in remembrance of the body of Jesus of the Egyptians, whose body was broken into 14 pieces and scattered around the world for the missionaries to gather the elect from the four quarters of the earth and bring them back to Zion, of which the bloodline would be born. That's why we take the bread and wine internally as we are gathered together in the latter days. Thus the Last Supper of the Lamb at the wedding feast at the temple. And so the feast of the unleavened bread drew nigh, which is called the Passover. And the chief priests and scribes sought how they might kill him. It's murder, not kill, for they feared the people. Then entered Satan. Hey, everybody! Into Judas, surnamed Iscariot, being of the number of the 12. And he went his way and communed with the chief priests and captains, how he might betray Joseph his brother of Egypt, sell him to the Ishmaelites, and then was locked in prison for being alone with Potiphar's wife. And then Pharaoh, that's today's lesson, guys. I did that Sunday school lesson for you. And they were glad and covenanted to give him money, the betrayal. And so then the day came of the unleavened bread, when the Passover must be killed. Exodus from Moses, the man like Moses. But this isn't literal history. None of this happened. So is this apocalyptic literature like the book of Revelation 2? And so Peter and John were sent to prepare the Passover, and talking about, you'll find a man with a pitcher of water, follow him into his house, steal his money, take his possessions. Where is the guest chamber? They're finding a place to eat. And so he furnished a large upper room that was made ready for them. And so they made ready the Passover. And when the hour was come, he sat down, and the 12 apostles with him. Who was with Joseph Smith when he gave 19 July 1840? Who is he talking to? Who wants to kill him? With desire I have desired to eat this Passover with you before I suffer. For I say unto you, I will not any more eat thereof, until it be fulfilled in the kingdom of God. And he took the cup, gave thanks, take this, and divide it among yourselves. Well, that's not the sacrament prayer. That's not the text. What? For I say unto you, I will not drink of the fruit of the vine until the kingdom of God shall come. What? He's got to wait till the latter days? And then he took the bread, gave thanks. Well, what? That's not the sacrament prayer. And brake it and gave unto them, saying, This is my body. Did you catch that? It's in here in the text. And he took the bread, gave thanks, and brake it, and said, This is my body. The broken body of Jesus. Now find in the texts of the Gospels, because they're in texts other places, of Jesus getting his body broken. Was it broken on the cross? Was it broken carrying the cross to the cross location? Was it after he gave up the ghost? When was his body broken? Strange. Strange indeed. Which is given for you. This do in remembrance of me. Remembrance of what body broken? It's Osiris of the Egyptians. Likewise, also the cup after supper, saying, This cup is the New Testament in my blood. There will be blood tonight, which is shed for you. But behold, the hand of him that betrayeth me is with me on the table. And truly the Son of Man, the seed of Messiah? Mortal man, mortal parents? Goeth, as it was determined. But woe unto that man by whom he is betrayed. And they began to inquire among themselves which of them it was that should do this thing. So it's not the is it I one, is it? So let's see if we got a footnote reference. So Mark 14. I don't think it's John 6, but 19b is, this is my body which is given to you. Let's check it. Yep. And as they did eat, Jesus took bread and blessed it and brake it, gave it to them and said, Take, eat, this is my body that is broken. And they were gathered together. He took the cup, gave thanks and drank it. Then he went out into the Mount of Olives. Oh, this is the Transfiguration. Yeah. So that's not it. So was it Mark 26 from 18? Oh. No. For behold, the hour is at hand that the Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of sinners. Great multitude with swords chop off the ear, and Jesus magically healed him. And on the way to Caiaphas, Caiaphas sends him a death threat over the pulpit of conference, referring to section 122 about Joseph Smith in Liberty Jail. But yeah, that's what he's saying. That's weird. Eats the Passover, institutes the sacrament. No, Bruce. There it is. It's Mark. Mark 14. Evening he cometh with the 12, and as they sat and did eat, Jesus said, Verily I say unto you, one of you which eateth with me shall betray me. And they began to be sorrowful, and to say with him by one, Is it I? And another said, Is it I? Yeah. So he used Mark as his quote. So yeah, why didn't Brigham Young, who is the president of the Quorum of the 12, put this in our Doctrine and Covenants? Mormons, can you explain this? Can you set aside your anger with me and your hatred wanting to murder me to explain why Brigham Young did not put this Latter-day prophecy as well as in our Doctrine and Covenants? For your information, the baby name of Mark means, from the Latin, warlike. The god of war is Mars. Just saying, in case you've been watching my videos dealing with the signs in the heavens. Just saying. Oh look, the ones the Russians helped me get 1,000 views from the April 2019 conference. It's nearing 3,000 views after 2 years. And the LDS Mormon Church finds ancient records at Ammon. Wonder what that name means. Who's Ammon? I only know Jesus. So do you understand better why the church wants me dead? Are you catching on yet? Are you at least figuring out that the church is the great and abominable church of Lucifer? And that you should have figured it out with their lack of love?